Hello, and welcome to this video on Azure Data Factory, ADF, Pipeline Control Flow Activities. Today, we'll explore how control flow orchestrates the execution of various activities in ADF, helping you automate and streamline data processes at Step2C Corp. In Azure Data Factory pipelines, control flow activities are the backbone that dictate the order and execution of your pipeline steps. Whether you need to process data, trigger other activities, or even call other pipelines, control flow helps you manage everything efficiently. Let's start with orchestration. Control flow ensures that activities in your pipeline are executed in the right sequence. You can chain activities together where one task automatically triggers the next upon completion. For example, after copying data from one source, the next activity might transform that data, followed by a notification via a web request. Next is branching. Branching allows your pipeline to make decisions based on conditions. For instance, you might want to check whether a file exists before uploading it. Using if or switch activities, you can define different paths to be taken based on specific conditions. This makes your pipeline flexible and dynamic. Now let's talk about looping. The ForEach activity allows you to loop through collections of data or files and perform actions on each one. Imagine you have a list of files to process. ForEach will run the same set of activities for each file, saving you time and effort. Custom state passing is another powerful feature. You can define parameters and variables at the pipeline level and pass them between activities. These values can be used to control the flow of your pipeline or even invoke other pipelines dynamically. Speaking of invoking other pipelines, you can use the execute pipeline activity to call a child pipeline from a parent pipeline. This helps break down large, complex workflows into smaller, manageable ones. Some key control flow activities include the execute pipeline activity, which invokes other pipelines, the ForEach activity for looping through collections of data, the if condition activity to implement conditional branching, the switch activity for evaluating expressions and executing different tasks based on matching conditions, and the web activity, which allows you to make HTTP requests and interact with external services. Finally, there's the data flow activity, which executes data transformations directly within the pipeline. A few examples to consider. You can chain a copy activity, a transform activity, and a web activity to create a complete data processing workflow. You could use an if condition to decide whether to upload a file based on whether it exists. And the ForEach activity allows you to process a list of files one by one, making your pipeline more efficient. The benefits? Control flow in Azure Data Factory gives you flexibility to build complex and dynamic data pipelines. It automates repetitive tasks, supports decision-making with branching, and helps organize your workflow clearly, improving both readability and maintainability. That's it for today's video on Azure Data Factory Control Flow. Thanks for watching, and we hope you found this helpful.